but you know, I think I'd love like some advice for, you know, how people can just like make a conscious effort if they're on a team to make sure that there isn't discrimination happening. Does Denisha, Miss Denisha, do you have any advice on that?
I'm gonna kind of keep going with what Tiffany was saying a little bit about the speaking up. So what she's saying is absolutely right. As far it is hard and it's challenging, and it's never a great way to approach someone about first racism or, you know, them not being fair. It's just not a great way to do it. And I have a model who I really admired here in Minnesota, and she's very popular. And I called her one day and I asked for some advice about speaking up, because I was hearing, you know, we were kind of talking about amongst ourselves, you know, models of color not being treated fairly and things of that nature. And I think Beverly popped up there for a second. And so I called her and I had a conversation. She actually told me, do not speak up. And I'm gonna tell you why she told me that. She said, because when I spoke up and I called, again, a really popular agency here in Minnesota, and said something to her about how she felt she was being treated as a woman of color, they stopped booking her. And I can attest to that. That does happen, because the more popular I became on my own, agents were having a problem. And they were talking to me about it. And it was really sad that they did not appreciate my success and my growth, because they weren't able to control some things. And I stopped getting booked, and I started having to go out on my own and contracting and booking myself, which is what I do not want to do as a model. I do prefer to be under an agency. So it is, when you speak up, I decided to not take her advice, and I did contact them. And I said, well, I feel like when I'm on set, this is what's happening to me. And I went to my agent to see if they would back me. And they were saying, no, it's probably just your imagination, or no, I don't think so. And I said, how can you say that when you're not a person of color? You have no idea what I go through as a model. I'm coming to you as an agent to try to speak to the clients, however way they felt was gentle or to get the attention. And my agents here did not support it. They just rather stop working me as much, even though they—
Miss Denisha for a second.
Oh, okay.
That's
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, am I back?
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, and they actually stopped wanting to book me as much, even though at the time I was one of the top models and I was able to make a full-time living off of it. But when I spoke up, I'm telling you, my bookings changed, and that's really sad. It's really sad. So it is a challenge, but I did speak up. I didn't care, and that's why I'm working and doing my own thing now still. So.
I think we've lost Melissa. She's frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Miss Denisha, how long ago was that you had that experience?
So this experience with me actually asking the other model, she's older than myself, but like I said, she's very successful here in Minnesota. And this conversation happened between us probably about 5 years ago. And that's why I said my company is still new as far as having a venue. I opened my school, and I also have the Model Boutique and Company, which is an agency. I opened that just 2 years ago after I saw my career really decline because I spoke up. But I'm like, you guys, I'm grown. I have a family to feed. This is my career. This is my job. And it's almost like they were okay if I ate or not. Because I spoke up, I stopped getting booked as much. And my clients that I work for now are outside of Minnesota. And that's really unfortunate. I've had a client in Atlanta that will fly me to Atlanta twice a year to host her events. And I have an agent in Iowa that books me more than 8 agents here. And I had to seek work outside of my own state because of racism. And I thought that was really sad, only because I spoke up.
Well, thank you for speaking up, because like Morgan was saying, with awareness, we need more awareness, and thank goodness we have the internet so it could spread a little bit faster, even though it's not going at pace fast enough. Let's keep it going in the right direction, because with more people speaking up, that will educate and, you know, hopefully create a movement of change faster. So
yeah. And I think that, like, thank you for using that word, Dale, because I think that's a really big problem from the white community, is the lack of awareness of the true depth of the problem. And, you know, I mean, I have to say the stories I've heard in the, you know, the last 3 sessions we've done on this have been shocking to me, even though I've covered backstage at Fashion Week for 20 seasons. And like, I don't see it because I'm just like kind of there around. So it didn't even occur to me, you know, because I'm just like there doing my job, you know? So I think the awareness is critical, that we understand the depth of the problem, and then we start recognizing it when it happens so that we can speak up as well. Because I think that everybody has to speak up. It's not, we can't just like rely on, you know, the poor person who's being discriminated against to be speaking up. You know, I would like white people to be able to recognize when something's going wrong, even if it's in a subtle way.
Yeah, and if anyone could voice solutions, and because I feel like a lot of people might be like, okay, we know there's a problem, and then they don't know how to fix it. So anything that anyone can lend their voice to helping, like really mark it up and step by step, like need this, and you know, maybe we need to make it more formalized.
And I really too encourage, you know, anyone on the panel or anyone who's listening, you know, if there's something like where you really like think at you know, at some point in time, like, you know, this is exactly, you know, the toolbox we need to have, you know, that's something that we can use the Fashion Mingle platform to